charge $3,000 a resume. There's just a huge range of what people charge in our business. And so when you think about pricing, you've really got a couple of different models that we talk about when we talk about pricing. One is to be kind of that low cost option. And that usually revolves around some kind of volume and maybe some tools that help you do that. If you're in that, if you're in that type of business, it's important that we're clear, we're understanding, people understand what we do for them and what we don't do for them, and that we're very straightforward with the product people are getting with that service. And that service can add value for people who have very linear careers. It can add value for people that are, let's see here. Uh-oh, you lost my audio. Let me see if I can change that. That's a bummer. Can you hear me? Is it back? It didn't show me that it wasn't being audio anymore. Okay, now it's back. All right. Oh, you haven't been able to hear me from the beginning? Oh, no. Sorry. Oh, man. Well, maybe we'll just start over. We'll do a do-over. Oh, what a bummer. So we were talking today about your business and how you can help your business stand out. And when we think about our business, and I've been hearing this from some people, that it's gotten to be crowded and there's a lot of people in this space. So how do we make connection with people if we are wanting to be in this space and wanting to stand out? So first of all, standing out is a couple of different things. So standing out means that I've got understand who I am and the difference that I offer, but I also understand how that difference adds value to my clients. Now, we usually think about that in like this one-to-one, like here's what I do, here's the value it offers you. And that's important, but that's only a part of the picture. So this weekend, I heard this analogy that I thought was great, talking about a bundle of cotton, right? If you could get a bundle of cotton, it might cost you $1. Let's just say, to keep it simple. When you turn that bundle of cotton into a t-shirt, now it has that kind of one-to-one value, right? Here's the benefits it offers the person that's wearing it. So you might be able to charge $5 or $10. When you add your favorite NFL team's logo, now you could charge, I don't know, they charge like $50 for those, right? 25 to $50, just because it has the brand, it has the connection with the community. Now, if it was a jersey that Tom Brady wore, or I don't know, whoever your favorite player is in whatever sport you watch or whatever it might be, then it could go for thousands of dollars, right? If it's signed by that player, if it's authenticated, it could go for thousands of dollars. So this is what we do when we start to build not only our brand and not only to connect our difference to our value, but also to start to build that idea of who we are and how that adds value even beyond the one-to-one benefit ratio. So you've got a community of people that understand who you are, that believe in what you do, that have maybe experienced it in some way. And not only are they seeing the benefit, that they're going to make more money or get a job faster or whatever that is, but that they would choose you over other people that claim those same benefits because of who you are, because of the essence that you bring, why you do what you do, your specific way of doing it. That's what we want to think about when we're putting these pieces together. That your difference isn't just what you do and the value that it adds, but it's also the way in which you do it and the community that you build around it. And we're going to think about that and figure out how we can build a community for our business. Now, that community kind of leads us to the second piece, which is the relationships, right? For a small business, it's all about those referrals. And if you want a higher close rate, if you don't want people arguing with you on price, the best place to get them is from referrals. And I always knew I was doing a good job on my prospect calls when people would say, oh, I've referred someone to you, and they didn't even do business with me, right? They just referred someone to me because we had a prospect call or we met at a networking event. That gives you that idea that your brand is leading for you. It's attracting. Branding isn't about selling, it's about attracting. And when you do that, you're going to get those referrals. You're going to have people coming in because you've got that community out there advocating for you, whether that's former clients or prospects, recruiters, and your networking groups, whatever that is, they're referring into you because they know not just your value, but that bigger picture of who you are and what you offer. And was wondering, for those of you that have joined me or come back, what types of clients you were seeing a lot right now, career changers, job seekers, people that are more focused on their resume or profile. So if you want to share that in the chat, what types of clients are you seeing right now? I'd love to see that, what kind of trends we're seeing there. So then we talk about, we need to figure out our pricing. And I've heard a lot about this, price resistance, and people aren't willing to pay as much as they used to. And things come and go, that could be happening. But there's also a wide range of things that go on in our industry. Right? You've got people that charge $50 or $75 an hour for coaching, maybe even $150 for a resume, all the way up to $3,000 for a resume, maybe $400, $500 an hour for coaching. It is a big range. And the service offerings at every level have value. It's important that they are clear about what they offer and what the person's getting for that value. But someone who has a fairly linear career and just needs a little polish might do fine with a resume service that's at the lower price point, right? Someone who's wanting us to talk to them, get their stories, really write that resume with the stories inside of it, they're going to be more at that higher price range. And what our job is to communicate the service offerings that we do, but we can get a little bit caught up in that, and we can focus too much on telling people what we do versus asking what they need. So someone might need a $150 resume job, right? Just someone that can clean up what they have, and you're asking them, or you're delivering a $3,000 job, it just doesn't fit, and you can waste a lot of your time doing that. So we want to ask people, what are their pain points? What are they really looking for? Not, I know salespeople teach that because it's how you get people to buy, but it's also just good coaching for us to be more concerned about what are the person tried, what are their goals, what's the gap, what are they looking for, so that we can figure out if we're really the right person to help them. And we can raise awareness even just in the prospect call about how they could do things differently or how they're moving forward without us having to communicate a lot about our services, because we're demonstrating it instead of telling. We always tell our clients, right? Show, don't tell. In your resume, show me an example instead of telling me that you're great at communication. But we get into a sales call and we do the same thing. We start telling them how great we are, telling them whatever it might be, instead of doing that communication, the coaching piece, asking those questions. So when we look at pricing, again, there's a huge wide range there. What we see as averages, and this was a little bit older data, but the average resume was around $650, and that was resume and cover letter. And the average actually tends to kind of stay the same, because you've got people in the industry that raise their prices, and then you've got people that are new in the industry that kind of come in at that lower range. So the average kind of stays the same over time. And then our coaching that we get from the ICF coaching studies, their last study showed that the average hourly coaching rate that a coach was charging, and this is life coach, business coach, executive coach, career coach, and that was $275 an hour in US dollars. So when you think about your rate, you want to think about how you fall into that range and how you're pricing your products overall. Are you trying to be at that lower end, get more volume? If you've got a team and you've got a clear process and clear examples of what people are going to get, great. If you're at that mid-range, if you're thinking about, this is how many hours it takes me, and I want to make sure I make that at hourly rate at least, and then tack on a little bit for those changes and things that happen. Or do you want to be what, the market kind of calls luxury pricing, where you might price yourself towards that higher end, $1,500 to $3,000, and you're charging people who are expecting that high touch service, and they're coming in at that value. It's important to realize that a $50 client isn't going to be necessarily easier than a $1,500 client. and the expectations at those levels are different, and the investment that they're putting in are different, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that higher end person is going to be more complex or more challenging. It just is a different level of service that you're offering and a different market that you're targeting. So when you think about the price range and how you want to model your business, that is a choice that we all get to make and figure out how we're going to make that work for us. I'm excited to hear a little bit from Venice Johnson. Venice Johnson is starting a boot camp for us tomorrow on business models and how do you create that flow in your business so that you can manage your relationships, manage your connections, get your clients the best results as possible with automation, as well as just the processes that help us do that. And that's the kind of balancing flexibility and structure. And coaches do that all the time, right? You've got flexibility, you meet the client where they're at, but you also have a structure of each session where you're, getting agenda, having the awareness raising, accountability, goal setting. There's a flow, there's a structure, but there's also flexibility inside of that to get people what they need. And we want to think about that in our business, that we've got a structure, and that actually allows us more flexibility to make sure we're meeting individuals' needs. So if I have a form that goes out to everyone on a regular basis, then I can have that communication back. And we just recently set up some of our courses, and some people had asked to get access to our career transition course because you get lifetime access to all of our courses. And some people that hadn't finished, we gave them access to the course, but also put them on the automation where every, 10 days to 2 weeks, they get a reminder, asks them how they're going, and here's your homework and all those types of things. And it allows people to be reminded, but also to respond back, which somebody just did yesterday, that they're busy, but they like the reminders. And that's the structure, but also the flexibility. So I can turn that off for this person if they don't want the reminders anymore. But it started a conversation. When we have that structure, then we can also be more flexible. It doesn't just go with communication, it's also our business. So you might have certain packages, certain services, and then the economy shifts. And I would encourage us to not think about discounting those products or services, but to think about how you could create other offerings that might appeal to whatever's going on in the market right now. So you might say a lot of job search going on. Maybe I'm going to create a 2-session job search intensive or a job search boot camp or whatever it might be. That's a little lower price than my full coaching package, but it allows people to work with me. It allows me to help people, which all of us want to do, without giving away my time, because that, as a service provider, is my only resource, right? Then I can automate pieces of it. I can use some tools so that people get a really robust experience without a ton of my time. And I'm not reducing my hourly intake, which right now would be silly for us to do as coaches because we're experiencing inflation just like everyone else. So we don't want to reduce the amount of money we're making per hour. We change our services so that it takes less of our time, but can still help people maybe at a little different level and give that value to people that they need it without discounting our services or making less per hour, because then it takes us years to get back to where we were before. So it's this structure, but then the flexibility of different offerings that we can create to meet those gaps that we see in the marketplace. And when we can do that, then we get those people into our community, right? They have a good experience. And when they're ready for something that's more full service, we still have our full service offering there for them when they're ready for it. And that's that balance and flexibility piece that we want to be able to have in our business. And then the last thing is that continuous improvement. And this is, are you getting feedback from your clients? Do you have an evaluation? Do you have an opportunity to think about how this works? What could make it better? I shared in my LinkedIn post today to think about, evaluating your tasks. What can you eliminate? What can you automate? What can you delegate? And to do that on a continuous basis, whether that's every couple of months, probably every 6 months at the fewest between, because we want to be continually thinking about how can we better serve people, how can we get better results, and how can we do it more efficiently. Because when we do that, we give ourselves more time and brain power to be better at what we do. Typically, we give our clients better service and maybe even more accountability, because that a lot of these systems are able to do that for us. And so we get this kind of win-win-win benefit of the systems, the technology, and the process that helps people key in and be better at what they're getting, and helps us be better at what we do. So I know some of you have written to me that, you can't attend the first day of the boot camp, which is tomorrow. That's fine. You'll get the recording. You'll be able to join us on Friday and Saturday and get those policies and practices put into place. I'm so excited about what Venice has put together for you, and going through and really thinking about your processes and how to be more structured so that you can help more people, have some time to yourself, and give your clients better results. So for those of you that have already registered, I'm excited to see you starting tomorrow. And if you haven't yet, you can still register. You'll be able to register through Thursday so that we can get you into the boot camp. Again, the kickoff tomorrow, and then the Friday and Saturday where we'll be getting the work done. So thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining us for Trend Tuesday. We'll see you next Tuesday. And thank you for those of you that hung on while we were having our sound issues. I was glad that you told me. Sorry, it took a little while for me to figure it out. But we will see you next week on Trend Tuesday. Thank you, everyone.